Look, I'm going to catch some serious flack for this, but I don't care in the slightest. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Musicals suck. My name is Blaine Andrews. I'm the host of Criticless Cast and owner of Criticless.com. And today I am going to be reviewing Joker, Folie à Deux? Follette of Douche. All right, really, it's Joker, Folie à Deux. It's the second film in the Joker series from 2019. It's another one of those. It's Joker 2. I'm about to go see it right now. My movie starts in a total of, I'm not wearing a watch, of like 5 minutes, but I just wanted to give you my upfront thoughts. And to be completely and totally honest, if you can't tell my tone from the start of this, I'm honestly not very excited about this movie. We have a film that didn't necessarily need a sequel, but then when one was announced, I was like, hey, I actually really like that first movie. This might be pretty rad. I'll check it out. And then they were like, hey, we're going to make it a musical. Just break into song randomly, because that's what musicals are, and normal people just go about their lives breaking into song and telling you everything that's happening in the world around them while they sing. Look, who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised. I'll go in, I'll check this movie out, I'll have the time of my life, and I'll love it. But I'm about to let you know what this movie is right now.
What is this?
What is this?
Smells like this.
Smells like ew.
Looks
Oh,
like
don't touch
this.
it, Bob, was you, dear?
This is piss.
At this point, after just getting out of the theater, I am honestly not even sure what I just watched, why it was made, what its purpose is, what its message is, why anyone needed to see this, or even more importantly, who was asking for this or wanting this film, because I just left with the biggest nothing burger effect of a film. Like, I just am kind of at a loss for words as to why this Joker film is a thing. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to go ahead and kind of break down what this film is, or what they're claiming that it's supposed to be. And so the overview of the film is, while struggling with his dual identity, Arthur Fleck not only stumbles upon true love, but also finds the music that's always been inside him. The decision to make this movie a musical is the very first thing that gets in the way of this film. Now, it kicks off with an animated Looney Tunes-esque version of the Joker telling a little short story of kind of what happened in the first film-ish, and drawing a light to this bifurcated dual personality aspect of the Joker, who Arthur Fleck is and who the Joker is. But honestly, that opening little cartoon intro is probably the most interesting thing in the entire film. This movie is extraordinarily dark and dour and depressing. It focuses on Joker as he's in Arkham Asylum. I think that's where he is, at least. I don't even know if they fully spelled that out, but he's in a mental institute, so one would think in Gotham that's exactly where you are, but I feel like it looked different than the place that was in the other film, so I don't know. I honestly don't even really care, but Joker is in an institution, and it is just kind of miserable and sad, and he's a very washed up version of himself, and as the movie progresses, you're just seeing more and more of that, of Joker dealing with being in prison. While Joker's in the asylum, he meets Harley Quinn. Now, we don't get her name for quite some time, but it's clearly who this character is, and it's played by Lady Gaga, who is fine in the role, and honestly, after seeing it, it feels like this whole musical decision was entirely wrapped and crafted around her casting for this movie. Can't come up with any other logical reason as to why this is a musical, and it's what I keep coming back to. Because this film comes to a screeching halt every single time there is a song. Every time. There is not a single song in this movie that stands out, that is interesting, that adds to the film. All it is doing is basically saying, like, hey, remember how Joker's crazy? Well, like, in his head, he's kind of just singing around and dancing because crazy, right? And that's what crazy people do. I do agree, because that lines up with my thought process on musicals, but I digress. As the movie was going on, every single musical number that happened, my opinion of the film was going down and down and down and down, to the point in which by the latter musical bits, I was literally tempted to just leave because I didn't care anymore whatsoever. I didn't want to sit through another song, even though the songs are fairly short. I just did not care. And this isn't just me disliking musicals. This really is the lack of interesting bits within these musical moments. They're just not fun. They're not exciting. And the movie is already so dour and depressing that when they do have upbeat musical moments, it's almost jarring. It's like this whiplash back and forth. And I get that maybe what he was going for is to kind of add to that insanity of Joker, but it just doesn't work with this world that he's built with the previous film, and I don't know why anyone would want this story told in this way. Then we get into this court case, and it's basically the government versus Joker, and it plays out like a typical court case. But then we come to the story itself, and honestly, it's just kind of a complete and total rehash of the last film, them just kind of talking through everything that happened again, which we have already seen in the first film. So you're watching it kind of play out again in court, and not really getting anything substantial or new or interesting. All of the performances are fine. What Joaquin Phoenix is doing is pretty great, and he's all emaciated and weird looking as usual for this character, and it works just like it worked in the last one. But at the same time, like I said, just nothing really new here. And Lady Gaga is fine as well. Her singing is great as always, but at the same time, who cares? And the only other standout role really is Brendan Gleeson for me, and his performance was great, but also it's just he's just a jailer and he's doing fairly interesting things, but it doesn't really come down to his performance. It just comes down to what he was given, what this story is, and it's just not interesting. And without getting into spoilers, I can just say that for me, at least personally, this movie was an extraordinary letdown. Where this story is headed and what they are telling, they could have told in like 20 or 30 minutes. But instead, it's drawn out to at least 2 hours long. No, scratch that. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Those 20 minutes could have been this movie. I really did want to like this to go into it with a fresh set of eyes and without having the expectations of not wanting to see a musical. But like it or not, it played out about like I was expecting, and I'm extraordinarily disappointed. And hey, if there's people that love it, have at it. But I would not recommend this to really anyone because it's not adding anything new. There's no real message here, and it's like it's trying to say several different things but never pays off on any of those. Is this movie trying to call attention to the hero worship of the mentally ill? Is it making a statement about our society and how we should pay more attention to those that are downtrodden or unnoticed? Is it trying to say that we should embrace chaos? I have no idea. It's not really saying any of those things while kind of saying all of those things and probably some others. It really doesn't come to any conclusion. And then at the same time, also, it doesn't really progress the story of these characters much further. And it's really just a wet blanket in its entirety. Honestly, I don't even really want to talk about this movie anymore. It added nothing to anything. I'm not happy that I saw it. It didn't make me feel better. It didn't make me excited. It didn't make me think. It just kind of made me anxious and sad. And I don't like those feelings and don't really want to continue to have them. So final thoughts here. It's a well-made enough film. It looks pretty good. It's kind of a stuffy indie musical. And as the first film was a bit of this indie vibe and had some great shots and some great moments, it still had a story to tell. It was interesting and evocative. This is not that. So, Criticless scale opinion, this is a 19% out of 100, maybe. Definitely a heinous. And if I were to advise anything about it, I'd say don't watch it unless you're just curious, because I felt like it was a waste of my time. If you've seen the movie, then definitely let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts. If I'm totally wrong about all of this, then tell me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing reviews on the newest movies and the latest news in the entertainment industry. And as always, make sure to visit criticless.com, create an account today, and we will be back again on Monday with the news. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and if you want to see Joker do it, I guess, later.